Thank you.
There's no there's in the Lord the God. Give me a yacht long. Oh, yeah. And Angela, Chumifit. Oh, that Yaruso. Hello. Good morning, Gisela. We are so happy and prepared.
Hello, Geshe. Good morning. It's so good that you join us. We're so thankful. We're so thankful that you were able to dedicate from your time and come and teach us. Thank you so much. It's so good to see you.
Welcome.
Yeah. So we're very fortunate. Thank you so much, and we are all just waiting for you to, start teaching us. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful morning.
Welcome. I think it's so right. Totally must. Those are never come to any sure Ganama. The musician camera. Left test tonation, Maria. Test tonation. Totally. Okay. Yeah.
Geshe, whenever you feel like you're ready, we are waiting for you to teach us, and you can just start whenever you.
Okay.
Whenever you wish.
Who is monitoring the whole thing?
It's Iki and myself. We do it simultaneously.
Okay.
So we are monitoring.
Okay. Would you mind giving me a few minutes?
Yeah, of course.
I'll start here. They are doing the video recording here.
Of course. Thank you so much. So maybe everyone can do a breathing meditation, stabilizing in the meantime, and then
okay.
When you
so now we are ready.
Oh, okay, good.
Okay. So what we will do is, okay. First of all, okay. Can I start now? Shall I start?
Yes, of course. Yes.
Okay. And first of all, welcome you all. Ale, pensila. Tina lola, what's the suture? What's the suture? What's the blade? There was the taken the city of the Okay. First of all, welcome you all to the Dhamma Friends of Israel. And it was like many months ago that Shahala made the request and made the request to come there. And he was also planning for the more systematic courses on emptiness there in Israel. And then because of this lockdown, because of this coronavirus, the disaster, whole world was locked down, and even now it's greatly locked down. And then on that basis, then I already just canceled all my trips to the West, Israel, Europe, and Southeast Asia. Then the Shahala again came up with the request if we can do online teaching. And I know Shahala so well, and he is extremely very compassionate, and in Tibetan we call it haksam. And in English it can be like altruism, working for others. So when I see the tremendous enthusiasm in the Shahala pertaining to this, the organizing of teaching for the people. So, and I know him personally so well, and his incredible good heart. So and in a way, I really appreciate, and in a way, I say there's no escape. So this is what he persuaded in a very skilled way that somehow there's no choice. Whether you like it or not, you have to say yes. So, and knowing his pure heart, this is something which really attracts me. And I really appreciate, in the first place, that all the participants of this program is really the participants knowing that your commitment, your dedication, your enthusiasm, your determination is something very different and very special. So, and Shahala, he was so enthusiastic to go for a bigger topic. And I said that it's just going to be like 2 days, and we should be very practical. So because of that purpose, we'll choose something which is extremely precious, at the same time not too huge a topic or huge a text, so that we instead of really doing justice to our spending time together, we just rush through and nobody gets anything. And so therefore we decided to go to do with theme in praise of the Sutra on dependent origination, and the Mahayana Sutra on dependent origin, which is a very precious sutra. So this is the all about the background of this. So what we'll do is that we'll do first of all, we'll do a little bit of breathing meditation, 5 minutes breathing meditation, all of us together. And it's going to be a pretty simple meditation. And then after the breathing meditation, we will do a little bit of practice of karuna, practice of compassion for those badly affected by the coronavirus, and many of those who passed away, who died to this coronavirus, and many who are tested positive and who live in fear, and the medical doctors, medical nurses, and all medical staff who are really very courageously combating, helping us combat the coronavirus, and everybody whose life is affected by this coronavirus. We'll pray for them, and not only this karuna practice, the whole teaching that we're going to do, the 2 days on the Mahayana Sutra on dependent origination, will dedicate for all the people there, so that the peace of mind is restored, and that the scientists soon generate the vaccine or the medication to curb, to combat this virus on an individual basis very easily. So this would be our prayers and procedure. Okay, so we'll do 5 minutes of the breathing meditation first. Breathing meditation, and whatever meditation um, anybody does, or the whatever practice that one does, what you receive from your teachers or what you've been doing on a daily basis, you can do this within just these 5 minutes. For others who are not really exposed to meditation, I'll give a very quick instruction. It's going to be a breathing meditation. Just sit in the most comfortable position, and the point is that what is important, body should be upright, and that the eyes should not be closed, eyes half open, 45 degrees cast down, and just breathe very naturally. Don't force your breath, don't chase your breath, just remain very in a natural state. This is very important. Then on the what you focus on is going to be just on the breath. Just count the breath. Breathe in, breathe out. Cycle 1, breathe in, breathe out. Cycle 2 for 5 minutes. In 5 minutes, for a healthy person, for a healthy, like young, somebody who is like in their 20s or 30s, will have like, say, 70 cycles, breathe in, breathe out. And for people who cross like 40, 50s, may have like maybe 90 or 100 cycles. This is what happens. So it doesn't matter. It entirely depends on the individual, the length of the breath of the individual person. So with this in mind, before we do this, let's do the refuge in Bodhicitta stanza. Refuge in Bodhicitta stanza, which we already, so basic thinking, I already mentioned that we are going to dedicate this everything for the world, for the healing the world, and particularly who just go through such the hollowness in the feelings at the moment, feeling of lust and confusion and uncertainty and so forth. Let us pray for them and visualize all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas in front of you, and they being so affectionate, loving towards you and towards all beings. And for the Bodhicitta, the visualization, visualize your two parents and all the family members around you and all sentient beings, the way I already shared with you earlier, all those who lost their lives to this coronavirus, and all those who are in the hospitals, and the medical staff like the doctors, nurses, and all the helpers in the hospitals, and everyone whose life is affected by the coronavirus. Let us all visualize them around us. Okay, 5 minutes. Okay, those of us who know this stanza by heart, the Reflection Bodhicitta, will say this together. Those of us who do not know that, never mind, just listen to us and okay, yeah, here. The stanza said, thank you. I will just recite this stanza 3 times. And yeah, so here the point is that I will seek the help of the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. And with taking their help, whatever activities that I engage in, such as giving, so forth, may I be of the maximum benefit to all the beings. So that is on a very secular understanding. And then more on a dharma understanding, that I become the fully awakened being, Buddha, to benefit all beings. So we'll say this 3 times together in English. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By my accumulations of the practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By my accumulations of the practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By my accumulations of the practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. Okay, now precisely to curb the effects of the disaster created by the coronavirus, let us do this practice, the practice of karuna. In a loose sense, practice karuna, practice compassion. In a more technical sense, the practice of the 4 immeasurables. We'll do this practice together now. Okay, it's going to be a guided meditation. And what is important for us to do is that just stop ruminating over the past experiences, whatever you had before, and stop anticipating anything of the future, and be in the present moment. Just follow the instructions, present moment, with respect to following the instructions. Just follow the instructions, and don't try to correlate what the instructions given right at the moment with what you've heard before, learned before. Don't try to correlate. Just try to follow the instructions, and as much as possible, invoke the experiences. This is what we're going to do. Okay. And you are leading this, and all sentient beings are joining us, and all the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, they are watching us. Immeasurable loving kindness. How good would it be that all my dear mother sentient beings are endowed with happiness and the causes of happiness. May all my dear mother sentient beings be endowed with happiness and the causes of happiness. I will take the responsibility that all my dear mother sentient beings are endowed with happiness and the causes of happiness. The Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, witnessing that you are making such a courageous commitment, like the mother, after all these many years of hardship, seeing today the eldest son and the eldest daughter, just age 12 and age 13, coming to the mother, informing the mother, "Mother, please take rest. You have done everything for us. We are already grown up. We'll take care of our siblings, and they will also take care of you. Mother, please take rest. You love us so much. You did everything for us, and we love you so much." And the mother could not believe her eyes and ears after all these many years of hardships that she went through. And this is exactly what all the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas are feeling today. They are so happy to see that you are making such a courageous commitment. And this happiness and the pride the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas feel towards what you did today invoke the compassionate, omniscient minds of all the Buddhas to send forth nectars and very soothing lights towards you and all dear sentient beings. The mere touch of lights and nectars with the bodies and beings of yours instills in all happiness and the causes of happiness within the minds of sentient beings, all sentient beings in yourself. And you witnessing such a miracle is happening to us, all of them sentient beings, you're intensely happy. Take 3 deep breaths, sighing with relief. Okay, a very quick note is that this practice, no doubt, some people may feel that it is a little superficial, that I don't really feel that way. So why should I be doing things which I don't really feel? It doesn't matter. This is the meaning of training. This is the meaning of practice, where practicing the piano and the practicing keyboard, initially no music comes out of it. You just mimic your teachers, and later on, as you become more and more familiarized, then the music comes out. And this is how the great compassion arises. This is the meaning of the practice. If you already have it to the intensity, the way I'm explaining now, then no need to practice. So the fact that what we're doing is a practice. Okay, we'll do it. We'll do this second one together. Reinforce the visualization of all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, so loving, so caring, embracing each of the sentient beings and yourself. And you, like the eldest child, inspiring all the other sentient beings who are like your brothers, sisters, and everybody so happily joins you in this practice. Immeasurable compassion. How good would it be that all my dear mother sentient beings are freed from suffering and the causes of suffering. Cause of suffering, immediate, the coronavirus, and the long term, the main primary cause, the collective negative karma. May all my dear mother sentient beings be freed from suffering and the causes of suffering. I'll take the responsibility that all my dear mother sentient beings are freed from suffering and the causes of suffering. The cause of suffering finally rooted to the self-grasping ignorance complemented by self-centered attitude. The Buddhas and Bodhisattvas witnessing that you are making such a courageous commitment, they're intensely happy and proud of you. This pride and happiness invoke their compassionate, omniscient minds to send for nectars and very soothing lights towards you and all human sentient beings. The mere touch the lights and nectars with the bodies brings yours. Frees the beings from all the miseries and the cause of the miseries. And you witnessing such a miracle is happening to us, all of human sentient beings. You're intensely happy. Take 3 deep breaths, sigh with relief. Immeasurable loving kindness, immeasurable joy. How good would it be that all my dear mother sentient beings are never separated from happiness and the causes of happiness that they're endowed with. May all my dear mother sentient beings never be separated from happiness and the causes of happiness that they're endowed with. I will take the responsibility that all my dear mother sentient beings are never separated from happiness and the causes of happiness that they're endowed with. The Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, witnessing that you are making such a courageous commitment, they're intensely happy and proud of you. This pride and happiness invoke their compassionate, omniscient minds to send for nectars and very soothing lights towards you and all human sentient beings. The mere touch of lights and nectars with the bodies beings yours stabilizes the happiness and the causes of happiness that beings endowed with. And you witnessing such a miracle is happening to us all human sentient beings. You're intensely happy. Take 3 deep breaths, sigh with relief. Finally, the immeasurable equanimity. How good would it be that all my dear Mother sentient beings are freed from the biased attitude of excessive attachment towards some and aversion towards others, and instead abide in the great state of equanimity, embracing all other dear Mother sentient beings equally, leaving none aside. May all my dear Mother sentient beings be freed from the biased attitude of excessive attachment towards some and aversion towards others. I will take the responsibility that all my dear Mother sentient beings are freed from the biased attitude of excessive attachment towards some and aversion towards others. The Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, witnessing that you are making such a courageous commitment, they are intensely happy and proud of you. This pride and happiness invoke their compassionate, omniscient minds to send forth nectars and soothing lights with all dear Mother sentient beings to yourself. The mere touch of lights and nectars with the bodies beings yours frees the beings from the biased attitude of excessive attachment to some and aversion towards others, and instead making them abide in a great state of equanimity, embracing all other dear Mother sentient beings equally, leaving none aside. And you witnessing such a miracle is happening towards all the dear Mother sentient beings, you're intensely happy. Take 3 deep breaths, sigh with relief. Underscoring all the 4 immeasurables is the unconditional love towards all dear Mother sentient beings. Just abide in this experience of the unconditional love towards all the beings. And imagine that you're looking at the eyes of each of the sentient beings to the extent that each one of them feels themselves as so special in your eyes. With the spirit of the unconditional love, let us all make a commitment. Buddha did the commitment 3 times. We are so fortunate that collectively we are accumulating the most virtuous, most powerfully virtuous mind, the Bodhicitta, the most beautiful mind that possibly exists in this universe. And today we are generating it. With this mind, I will say a line of commitment, and let us all say these 3 times together, wholeheartedly. And imagine that everyone is joining you. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear Mother sentient beings. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear Mother sentient beings. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear Mother sentient beings. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear Mother sentient beings. Just abide in this most beautiful mind in this universe, the most beautiful. Just feel the presence of this bodhicitta. You see that all the barriers dissolve. And you feel everybody as your brothers and sisters, so loving, so caring. Just a flow of your mind. Nothing really blocks you. Nothing really hinders you. The flow of your love towards others' love towards you is so beautiful. Okay, this is amazing. We all made this commitment, Bodhicitta. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all dear Mother sentient beings. The next question is, how will you become a Buddha? This is the next question. So the question arises, handful of sand, no matter how much you squeeze it, no oil will come out of that. So how can you say that you can become Buddha? Yes, I'm not like a handful of sand. Each one of us, we're not like a handful of sand. We are like a handful of sunflower seeds. You squeeze it and the oil comes out of it. Likewise, we have a Buddha nature inside. We have the seed of perfection within us. Each one of us, we have. It doesn't matter whether you're a boy or a girl. It doesn't matter whether you're a believer or non-believer. It doesn't matter whether you're a Buddhist or non-Buddhist. Everybody has this seed of perfection. So why not we awaken this? Okay, how can I awaken this? So till those who believe in the time, beginningless time, till that point today, from that point till today, this Buddha nature never manifested. So how can you say that now it will manifest? Okay, so this is a serious question. This is what we all have to keep in mind, that yes, that's true. Till now, I've been deceived by the two demons, self-grasping ignorance and self-centered, cognitively distorted cognition, self-grasping ignorance, and effectively a very narrow the thinking, which is self-centered attitude. I'm being deceived by these two. Now I'm disillusioned by the two. I'm not going to surrender. I'm not going to give in to these two anymore. How? By resorting to a very powerful remedy. What's the remedy? The remedy to see the reality as it is, like waking up from the sleep of ignorance. So the sleep, the contents of the dream will not affect me anymore. So whereas in the dream, believing the dream to be real, there is no escape. You are bound to be affected by the dreams. So now, that is known as this, how we are being deceived by the self-grasping ignorance. So whereas now, by being disillusioned, I would like to wake up from the sleep of ignorance so that the sleep of ignorance cannot affect me anymore. How? Okay, to see the reality as it is, to cultivate this wisdom, a very powerful remedy to overcome these self-grasping ignorance. So what remedy? The wisdom. Ignorance is the one creating problems. So the one to shoot this ignorance, one to shoot this trouble, that the troubleshooter should be the wisdom. What is the wisdom? Wisdom is the discerning mind, whose apprehension of the object tallies with the reality. What's the reality? Okay, we're going to quickly meditate on emptiness, the reality. We're quickly meditating on this, and it's going to be guided meditation. And for those of us who are already exposed to emptiness from your other teachers, primarily from His Holiness the Dalai Lama's teachings and so forth, you can meditate on this on the basis of the instruction that I'm giving. For those of us who are just totally new to emptiness, it doesn't matter. We are very fortunate. We're at least trying to get a glimpse of how to revolutionize our thinking, to see that what I'm seeing is not the reality. The reality is something veiled by the self-grasping ignorance. Okay, so for that matter, again, the way we did before, we just stop ruminating over the past experiences and stop anticipating anything of the future and cut yourself from the sensory objects. Just be in the present moment with respect to the instructions given. And whatever instructions given, just follow the instructions, and don't try to correlate, don't try to draw parallels and try to correlate or try to see the contradiction, whatever. Just follow instructions and see if you can invoke the respective experiences. That's very important. Okay. Okay, ready? What are you doing? I am meditating. What is your body doing? My body is in a meditative state. Okay, so how does this person appear to you? When we see the dream, the dream appears so real. Likewise, how does this person appear to you? As real, as objectified, so solidly there, or as opposed to being solid or solidified, it's coming from the mind, like a movie being projected by the movie projector, or you see it as so objectified and solidified there, or like the projection being projected by the movie projector. How does this self appear to? Of course, as so solidified, so objectified. Okay, this belief that this person who's meditating, referred to as I, Dorji, so this person, seen as objectified and believing that it is how it appears. This is known as self-grasping ignorance. The way we believe the dream as real. And the moment you believe the dream is real, you are constantly going to be bombarded and affected by the dream. You're not going to be spared by the dream even for a moment. Likewise, when we believe that this self is so objectified and so real, this perception is known as the dream of samsara, and we are just trapped. We have been sucked up in this dream of samsara. There is not even a moment of freedom. Okay, how can I know this? How can I know that this perception is erroneous? This is cognitively erroneous. How can I know that? Yes. Okay. Remember what Aranagarjuna said. In his text, Precious Garland, if the mirage were to be water, why not those close by the mirage see water? If you see me in water from distance like 1 kilometer away, how to evaluate that I'm in water or not? Okay, you come closer towards me. Coming closer, if you see that there's no water, there's no trace of water there, then you will decide that earlier what you see was just an illusion. It was just mirage. Exactly. This is exactly how we evaluate whether the self exists objectively or it exists like a dream. How do we do that? Come closer to this object. Okay. Coming closer to this object, if you find something else which is not the self, just ignore. We're only interested in the self existing from the object. This is known as the objective self. Okay. We go closer to the self, do it very gradually. Initially, we just find a very thin layer of the skin. Of course, that is not me. We're going to discard all which is not me. I'm only interested in the self which exists objectively. Then behind that is just the fatty tissues, layers of fatty tissues. Of course, that is not me. Keep that aside. Behind that, muscles, cartilages. Of course not. Then alongside the blood vessels, the skeleton, the skull, the brain, the heart, the lungs, liver, gallbladder, then the esophagus, stomach, then the intestine, large intestine, small intestine, gallbladder, then the kidney and spleen, pancreas. Okay, none of these solid parts is me. So these solid parts constitute what is known as element of earth. These solid parts. None of these solid parts is me. Okay, keep that aside. Now, element of water, the blood, 4 liters of blood, which is pumped in and out by the heart to the different parts of the body. Of course, that is not me. Keep that aside. Element of fire, 2,500 joules of energy of a body. Of course, that is not me. Keep that aside. Element of air, 4.6 liters of air that we breathe in and out through our lungs. Of course, that is not me. Keep that aside. Element of space, 99.99% of our body is vacuum in nature. And the space occupied by the electrons, protons, neutrons of body, they are just like 0.0001 in the face of 99.9% of the volume occupied by the space. So, but I'm a solid person. The space vacuum in nature. So vacuum and solidity is too contradictory. Even the space element is also not me. What is left now? Only the consciousness is left. The mind is left. Consciousness is left. Of course, even this element of consciousness is also not me. I'm a male. I'm a female. The consciousness does not have a gender. Gender is posited on the basis of the body. So therefore, this consciousness is also not me. And people can see me. People cannot see my mind. So from that point of view, even this consciousness is also not me. Keep that aside. Okay. Now, what impression do they get? You have gone too close to this object of this self, the self as the object. And what you end up finding was you end up finding the 6 elements. And you end up finding that none of the 6 elements is this self. Yes, that's for sure. Okay, if these 6 elements are not the self, then the self, which earlier you saw is so objectively there from the object, must be there from must be there as different from the 6 elements. Remove the 6 elements to see what is there as a different as a self. No, nothing is left there. These are the only 2 options, only 2 alternatives for to say that this self exists from the object, either the 6 elements or different from the 6 elements, and both prove to be wrong. So where is that self from the object? Nothing is there from the object. Okay, stay in this experience. You are not exaggerating this. This is a discovery that you're making. And for some people, there could be a tinge of a fear coming in you. For some people, there could be a tickling sensation coming in your body, and goosebumps coming in your body, and cold waves flowing through your body. And in some cases, an extremely tranquil feeling, which you never experienced before, can come to you. Should any of these experiences come to you, you are very fortunate. It doesn't mean that you are getting emptiness, but you are in a proper track towards the emptiness. This experience, where you see that the self simply dissolves, the self is not really there. Closest to the object, you've been there. From the object, you discovered that the self is not really there. This experience, this meditation is known as the meditation on the space-like emptiness, a Bhatin's experience. And the benefit of this experience is extremely profound. That just as this self dissolves and a tinge of fear comes to you, a very triangular experience comes to you. Likewise, you subject any phenomena to the same analysis known as the ultimate analysis. All phenomena is bound to dissolve, like your sickness, aging, tension, anxiety because of the coronavirus, COVID-19. All these, if you subject them to the same analysis, they are bound to dissolve and disappear. When they disappear, the agitation dissolves. When the agitation dissolves, agitation subsides. This agitation will be replaced by extremely tranquil state known as the peace, absolute peace. This is what is known as the transcendence of sorrow. Transcending sorrow is absolute peace. Stay in this experience for a while. Okay, now slowly come out of this practice, come out. As you come out of this practice, gradually, don't come out suddenly. Gradually come out of this practice, then you see that again this self comes back. Okay, with the early meditation, space-like emptiness meditation, you were absolutely sure that nothing really exists from the object. This self does not exist from the object, does not exist from the object. But then now the self appears to your mind. Because it is empty from the object and still appears to the subjective mind, it is referred to as the mere appearance to the subjective mind, mere appearance. On this mere appearance, self exists. On this mere appearance, all phenomena exist. All the functionalities operate on this mere appearance level. Okay, so this realization that everything is operating on this just mere appearance level is known as the meditation on the illusion-like emptiness. Okay, thank you. Okay, let us now come out of the meditation. Good. Okay, tell me, the moderator, how much time I have now.
45 minutes.
45 minutes? 45 minutes more. Okay, then question answers? Do we have time for question answers?
Yeah, if you want, we can do that. Yes.
For how long?
You
question
say
answers, timing for question answers added to 45 minutes or including question answers?
Including question and answers, I think.
Okay. Okay. Which means that I'll do like another 20 or 25 minutes talk. Okay. And then the talk or the teaching, and then another 20 minutes on question answers.
Okay.
Okay, good. Okay. Today I like to, so basically what we did, the meditation on emptiness, the Four Immeasurables and the Bodhicitta, we are very fortunate. I'm very fortunate, and each one of us, we are all very fortunate that we are doing collectively with the coronavirus that we are combating, which is creating all the disasters, the anxiety in the world. This is all because of the collective negative karma. And the best way by which to combat the collective negative karma is by introducing the counter force. And the counter force is collective positive karma. And the collective positive karma, the best way is the wisdom of emptiness and compassion, or the bodhicitta. His Holiness the Dalai Lama oftentimes says that, say, when the people request for long life and the empowerments, His Holiness would say that after giving the empowerments, he would say that practice wisdom and emptiness, this is a real long life practice, long life empowerment. Practice bodhicitta, this is real long life empowerment. This is how His Holiness is so emphatic that these two things must be practiced. And we are very fortunate that we have such incredibly great teacher as His Holiness, who holding that position and then taking us into the proper direction. Otherwise, had it been the case that somebody in the position of His Holiness always emphasized so much on empowerments, with least emphasis on bodhicitta and wisdom and emptiness, the whole world, the world of Buddhism is going to just lose its meaning. So we are very fortunate that we have His Holiness the Dalai Lama in this very high, the highest of the position, and encouraging people to go in the proper track, the wisdom of emptiness and bodhicitta. Okay, so what I like to share with all of you here, beginning, is that we see that if you look at the world, we see that the world, what the physicists would call as the universe, which they believe to have originated from Big Bang. And it's not just a belief, it's not just a blind belief, but with some, they say the reasons there on the basis of the Doppler's effect, they could see that the universe is expanding and expanding in the accelerated form. So the pace of the expansion is accelerating. So from this, they talk about the whole universe, and whole universe, for them, it is just the composed of the elementary particles, such as electrons, protons, neutrons, bosons, the fermion, and so forth, and the antimatters, and so forth. This is what they believe. So these, in a way, we see that according to physics, the whole building blocks of the universe is just these elementary particles. Now there's another world, another universe of the mind. There's another universe of world, another universe of the emotions is there. This is undeniable. For example, let's say that the Mars, Jupiter, Neptune, Saturn, and so forth. So then there's no life. And these electrons, protons, neutrons, all are there, but then there's no life. Whether it's enveloped with the poisonous gas, or whether it's enveloped with the very healing air, there's no difference to that planet, that planet. But on planet Earth, it does make a difference to us. So in what way it makes a difference? For example, today with the coronavirus, people are being warned that stay at home, social distancing. Why? Because if you don't do that, then you will contract the virus. If you contract the virus, then you will go through the problems, health issues. With the health issues, no, you're not happy. You are not happy. This is the point. You are not happy. This is the world of the emotion. So there's whole world of emotion there, the whole material world there. There are two worlds there. Physics talks about the whole material world, and whereas there's a whole world of the emotions. This is reality. So now, just as the whole world of the whole material world comes into existence, it is constituted of the elementary particles. Even the emotions, they're also constituted of the segments of the temporal segments of the mind. So this is own world of the emotions. So now the thing is that the emotions that we have, say let's directly touch on this part. Emotions that we have, we see that the morning we wake up today, Israel, say all the participants, when you wake up, okay, today we're going to have an online a talk, and what's going to be that like? And some people who already know me, okay, he's going to speak like this. Whereas others who have no clue of me, what is going to speak on, okay, so looking forward to it. And then, okay, so because I don't have anything, in any ways, I have to be in the house, so I better listen to what he has to say. Okay, so there are various kinds of people, and so this all determine the emotions. Some they were anticipating, some they, okay, I have to do it, and some said, oh no, I should have waste like this, rather I would rather lie down and sleep. Okay, so these are all determined by the emotions. These are all determined emotions. And overall speaking, just ask yourself, overall speaking, in this world of the emotion that you have, just ask yourself, are you happy with the emotions that you have now? Are you at the zenith? Are you at the top of the happiness, or the satisfaction, or the gratification, or the fulfillment of your emotions? Are you happy? Did you reach that level of the zenith of the fulfillment? Answer is no. Because the answer is no, we are all together here. Yeah, because of that, we're all here. Because of that, we are social distancing. If that has reached the zenith, then we don't have to really worry about the social distancing. We don't have to really worry about contracting the diseases. So this is not the case. Now, if this is not the case, that I have not yet reached that level of the zenith of the fulfillment of my emotions, then the next question is, what are you looking for? You are looking for something. Yes, I'm looking for something. What? The sense of fulfillment. Some people call it happiness. Some people call it fulfillment. Some people call it ease. I'm looking for the ease, and I want to get rid of the anxiety, coronavirus anxiety, and so forth. I want to get rid of that. Okay, good. What degree of anxiety you want to get rid of? What degree of happiness that you are seeking? What degree of fulfillment that you are seeking? And if possible, 100% happiness, 100% fulfillment, and the 0% suffering, 0% the anxiety. Okay, the next question. Is it possible? This is a very serious question. Is it possible? Okay, so the Buddha said, yes, we all have the potential for infinite happiness and the total fearlessness or zero suffering. We all have that potential. It doesn't matter whether you are a believer or not, whether you're a Buddhist or not, whether you're a boy or girl, there's no difference. It's just, everyone has this. So with respect to that, there's nobody who is inferior, there's nobody who is superior. We're all equal. It is for this reason that the Buddha Shakyamuni is being revered, respected for his advocating, for his one of the greatest champions of the equality of gender, equality of caste, equality of the beings. This is what form. This is what the Buddha Shakyamuni is really, respected for in many of the societies. Okay, this is one thing that we keep in mind. And then the next question is, how do we know that I have this potential to have the maximum happiness and zero suffering or total fearlessness? How do I know this? Again, the most beautiful part, another very beautiful part of the Buddha's teachings is this stanza, which I like so much, which I'm sure I said it like twice or three times, if not three times, twice in Israel. Once I was in Cambridge, in England, for my, to polish my English. Anyway, still, my English is struggling, it doesn't matter. So now the age is catching up, so I'm not really worried about English. So even if my English is a little draggery, I don't mind it. Okay, so in Cambridge, I met a physicist friend, and of course, I still have a strong inclination towards physics, affinity to physics, fondness to physics. And so wherever I go, if I catch sight of a physicist, then that is a greatest treat to me. So then Cambridge, I met this physicist, and he's an Israeli physicist. He's Israeli, and he is, wow, extremely brilliant. But you may be wondering, that's why I'm saying this, but he's extremely brilliant. But people find it so difficult to talk to him. You talk to him, just say 2 lines, and he will say there's internal contradiction in you. So difficult for people to talk to him. People are scared to talk to him because they can't really say anything. You just speak 2 lines, finish. You have been cut, saying that there's internal contradiction. Okay, this is who this physicist is. I'm sure he's still there. He's an Israeli physicist. And he's very bright, extremely bright. We debated in a common friend's house. We started having some discussions, debate, and then it so happened that we were invited for a what? Birthday party. And then it was supposed to be finishing by 10:30, and 2 of us were sitting there like 12 a.m. and our host finally said that it's already 12:30 now. 2 of you must have something to do tomorrow. So they sent us off. Okay. So what I'm saying that at one point, what he said, this physicist, of course Israeli, what he said is that in this world, okay, let's all listen to what he said. In this world, there is only physics is education. And then nobody dared to ask him a question why. So I asked him why. And he said, because only physics allows you to have a critical thinking. All others are imitation of the earlier teachers. This is what he said. Then I felt relieved. I said, okay, wait. What the Buddha has to say. The Buddha said, the wise people and the bhikshus, or the monks and nuns, just as the goldsmith tests the purity of the gold by cutting, rubbing, and burning the gold, you should also examine my words and put them into practice, not simply because you respect me. Then he remained silent for a few seconds. He said, oh, the Buddha must have been a great physicist. Okay, so this is extremely important statement made by the Buddha, that whatever we believe, you must not believe it blindly. You must believe it with the conviction, confidence, and with the logical reasoning. So why I'm saying this is that pertaining to the Buddha advocating, the Buddha telling us that everyone has this seed of the perfection, infinite happiness, the seed of infinite happiness, and the seed of total fearlessness. So this is something we are not to take it blindly, but we have to logically understand it. For that matter, the text is a beautiful text by Arya Nagarjuna, Dharmadhatu-stava. Dharmadhatu-stava, in praise of Dharmadhatu. That text is so precious to give us conviction in the efficacy of this, the seed of perfection, also referred to as the Buddha nature or the Tathagata Garbha, within everyone. This is one point. Then the next is okay. Next is that if we have this potential, then the what blocks this potential? What blocks this potential? This is a question. So then like the gold when mixed with the soil, you don't see the gold there. It doesn't mean that the gold is not there. While the nature of the gold is to glow, but the gold is not glowing. There's nothing glowing there. For us, the ordinary beings, we may see it as there's no gold. It's just a mud. Throw this. But in the eyes of the gold experts, they will not throw this. There's a gold there. This is so precious. And how do they convince us of the presence of gold there? They will remove the dirt. As they remove the dirt, then the gold inside will start to glow. Then you start to see the glow. And as you remove the dirt more and more, the glow is going to be more and more. So this is what happens. So what is that dirt? Say in the case of our mind, where the seed of perfection is there, what is that dirt which blocks the Buddha energy inside? So that dirt, I don't want to go into too technical. This dirt, we can put them into two categories. One is the gross dirt, and the subtle one. A gross one, we call it afflictive obscurations, and the subtle one we call it cognitive obscurations. Gross and the subtle. What's the difference between these two, the gross and subtle? Afflictive obscuration and a cognitive obscuration. What's the difference? This question. So for that, I'd like to give a very simple example of a garlic. So for example, if somebody smashed garlic in my mug, then I looked at it, I'm really put off. Who smashed garlic in my mug? I don't eat garlic. And the person apologized, owned up and apologized. I did it, I'm very sorry. So the person they removes the garlic and they wash it so well. So now you just put a finger there, there's no garlic, trace of garlic there. Okay, no garlic there, no solid garlic there. You smell it, still smells garlic. So the solid garlic, that is like the solid mud, and the smell of the garlic, this is like the subtle obscurations inside the mind. So there are two obscurations. One is solid garlic-like obscuration, referred to as the afflictive obscurations, and the other one, smell of the garlic-like, referred to as the cognitive obscurations. Okay. And the next question is, why do we classify the mental defilements into two, gross and the subtle? Why? Because we have two aspirations. And on that basis, there are two things which block us of the two aspirations, fulfilling the two aspirations. We have two aspirations. What are they? We want total fearlessness, no anxiety, no fear, no anguish, no miseries. And the other one, happiness. I want the maximum happiness. So in other words, we have two aspirations. One is aspiration for fearlessness, and the one aspiration for infinite happiness. And technically, it is known as aspiration for fearlessness. Technically, it is known as the nirvana, freedom from samsara, technically. And the aspiration for infinite happiness, technically, it is known as aspiration for Buddhahood, full awakening, full enlightenment. Okay, we have two goals. We have two aspirations, two goals of aspirations. We have two aspirations with two goals. And these two the goals of the aspirations, they are actually within us in the form of seeds, in the form of the nature, in the form of seeds. The only thing is that we fail to see that. So now with this study, what we come to realize is that because there are two potentials inside us. One, the potential for fearlessness, freedom from liberation from samsara, or the other, the potential for infinite happiness or the Buddhahood. There are two. Because there are two potentials inside, what blocks us of these two potentials, there are two defilements. So one of the two, say, achieving fearlessness, nirvana, achieving infinite happiness, Buddhahood, achieving nirvana is much easier than achieving Buddhahood. So in other words, on the level of the mental defilements, the defilements which block us from achieving nirvana, that is easier to be gotten rid of. So it is grosser in nature, gross. For example, say, if your handkerchief, if it drops in the mud, then it will have a solid mud there. And then you wash it, So there's a solid mud there, which is gross mud, and after putting these handkerchief in the water, just dip in the water, the gross mud will go away. And later on, there's going to be a very subtle stain left. For the subtle stain, however much you may dip in the water, it will not go away. You have to use detergent. So subtler the defilements, more difficult it is to abandon, more difficult it is to eliminate. So the grosser one, when you eliminate that, grosser mental defilements, when you eliminate that, you achieve what is known as nirvana, or fearlessness, or freedom from samsara. And the subtler one, when you eradicate this, which is much more difficult to eradicate, it needs a tremendous detergent to remove this mental defilement, and the detergent of the wisdom of emptiness by the power of the bodhicitta. Only then we can eradicate these subtle stains. At that point, you achieve Buddhahood. So this is what it is. Then the next is, okay, so now from this, what becomes very clear to our mind is that at the moment, I have the potential, but that potential is yet to be manifested. So that's a very basic state, or known as the ordinary state that we live in. We live in the ordinary state. We are in the ordinary state. And then aspiration, the goals of the aspiration is little high, aspiration of nirvana, aspiration of Buddhahood. And nirvana, Buddhahood, they are not to be thought of as something very far away or something exotic. It's just like a story. No, this is something, if we understand it, the presentation, the way we are doing now, from there we can get a very clear picture, blueprint, a clear blueprint, how we can possibly traverse a path from where we are now to the state of the aspired goal, nirvana and Buddhahood. So there we have to move. We have to move. This movement is known as the journey. This is a mental journey. It's the journey of the mind. What is this journey? This journey is very clearly indicated in Heart Sutra. Gate gate, para gate, para samgate, bodhi soha. Go beyond. Go utterly beyond and establish your enlightenment. This is the meaning. So there, go, it means a journey. Take a journey. Don't stay in samsara. Don't stay in the misery. Go, awaken the seed of perfection within you and reach the highest state of happiness that you're seeking. Okay, this is, so it involves a journey. Journey means a change, not remaining static, but a change. Change involves cause and effect. Cause and effect. So what cause and effect? With the same negative cause, only instead of gate, it will go to anti-gate. With the negative cause, it will take us to anti-gate. So if you want to go to gate, then we have to take the positive cause. So we have to know the cause and effect. Cause and effect. For this journey, we have to have a very deep conviction in the efficacy of the cause and effect. That, okay, so given that I have to take this journey to awaken, to manifest my true nature, instead of being always sucked up in the dream of samsara, for that matter, I have to embrace the proper causes. So for that matter, we have to have a deep conviction in the efficacy of the cause-effect operation. So that cause and effect operation is what you find so well delineated in this sutra, the sutra, Mahayana Sutra on dependent origination. This is how we connect the panorama of what we said now can be connected to this sutra. So now the cause effect. On the basis of this cause effect, as very clearly delineated in the Mahayana Sutra, dependent origination, then we will see how we can proceed from undertake this journey of gate, para samgate, bodhi swaha. Okay, I'll stop here for this talk. And any questions, if you have a little time left, I'll be very happy to entertain some questions.
Yeah, so I just say that thank you so much, Geshe. And if you want to ask some questions, you can all write it down on the messenger, or you can raise your hands, and then we can unmute you and you can ask. Better? Yeah. Okay, so you can raise your hand and we look at you right now if someone wants to have a question, and then we can unmute you and you can ask Geshe.
Yeah, that's better.
Yeah, so does anyone have a question?
미통다. Who else are there? I see. Okay. Okay, Leora.
When I followed your meditation guidance,
Yes.
Getting closer to the object, trying to see the water in the mirage, it was very good when the object was a matter, like a flower or a self in the body. I could not see the object. I had to stay with what I don't see. Very difficult, but very good, very beneficial. I could do it. When I try to get closer to the non-matter object, maybe it's some sort of a mind, very subtle mind. I don't know what to look for. I don't know what to get close to. So I don't know how to follow the meditation if it's a non-matter object. What is the non-matter self? What do I look for?
This is thank you so much. This is first of all, Leora, so good to see you again. Yeah. So this is a very serious question. It's a very important question. In other words, you are talking about how can we practice the meditation on the emptiness of the mind? This is a question. So there, what I would suggest is that first we have to, before we talk about the emptiness of the mind, first we have to have a good picture of what is mind. This is very important. What is mind? And for that, two things. One is the study of the Buddhist psychology. Study of the Buddhist psychology. This is so important. So first, what the mind is, we have to identify what the mind is. For that matter, study of the Buddhist psychology is very important. And meanwhile, in a way, we are very lucky that we have the separate of the study of the Buddhist psychology. This is there. And then meanwhile, it would be even better. So along with the study of Buddhist psychology, and study Buddhist psychology also, it depends on who teaches you and what are the topics that are taught under this and form and some of the nuanced understanding of the mind, workings of the mind. We also have to study Acharya Chandrakriti's the text, Madhyamika Avatar, about emptiness, how the mind operates to create all these conventional world. So these studies will be really very helpful for us to identify what the mind is. This is very important. Then alongside, it is important to study the chapter 2, Pramana Vartika. Pramana Vartika, Acharya Dharmakirti's text, chapter 2. When we study this, there is the whole detailed discussion about the workings of the mind. Number 2. Then number 3, once we have a good grasp of the mind on the basis of these two studies, then do a little bit of the awareness meditation. Awareness meditation, but when somebody does the awareness meditation, it's very important that you need to have a very clear-cut instruction. And it can be dangerous, particularly for people who did not really study the Buddhist psychology and jump into this practice directly. Initially, it can be fun, but it can be very dangerous. This is what I'm warning you. So, those of like Leora, you being into the London Master's course, into all these studies, if you want to do it, you can do it. But the instructions you must get the very clear instruction. Once you get this, then you can feel what the mind is. Once you get hold of what the mind is, then you apply the techniques. How the mind, just as the body, you split into the atoms, the mind you split into the temporal segments of the mind, temporal segments, and then the overall mind, which identifies, okay, I'm happy, I'm not happy, okay, all the overall mind, we see that they simply make no sense when you go into the temporal segments. Okay, this will help us. And yes, I agree with you. It's not that easy. Without getting the object of the analysis, we can't really, go into the emptiness analysis of the object, the mind. Yeah. Thank you, Lirala.
Can I ask?
Yes.
Thank you, Geshe.
Welcome.
I want to be more convinced about my Buddha nature.
Tibi, right? Tibi.
Liora.
Oh, Liora. Yes.
Oh, yeah, always you think I'm Tibi. Anyway.
Please. Okay.
Yeah. I want to be more convinced about my
Liora, who was attending me on my first retreat. I remember that.
Maybe
Yeah.
I don't remember.
You were bringing the food to me.
Yes, that's true. Yeah.
Thank you.
That's true.
Yes.
Thank you very much. And I want to use your example with the piece of gold. When I want to rub the dirt that cover the piece of gold, I do it because I see maybe that there is some glimpse, some things that comes really very small from this piece of gold. That's why I have the motivation to work very hard and to clean it. If I thought it's iron, I wouldn't do it. So what I'm looking for is, what do you think, can you say, what is the glimpse that comes from my Buddha nature that I can say, wow, it's worthwhile washing and cleaning?
Okay. Wonderful. The questions coming from Israelis are extremely good. Thank you. It's so good. Okay, only if we see the glow of the gold coming out, then we'll be inspired. If we don't see that, we have to believe in it. And we are not encouraged to believe in it. We have to do it rationally or with reasoning. So what kind of glimpses do you see? What kind of glimpses of the gold inside do we see? Okay, let's say that let's say this is something which I personally experienced when I was the second time I was landing in Singapore. Second time I was landing in Singapore. The aeroplane landed, and then we got off. We deboarded the plane, and then at the airport, extremely, you wouldn't believe the feeling that I'm getting. That feeling, you wouldn't believe the feeling that I was getting was extremely ecstatic, extremely beautiful. Wow, I never experienced this before. Where is this coming from? This feeling. Why that feeling? Because my first encounter with the Singaporeans in Singapore, the first encounter there, it was an extremely beautiful encounter with the Singaporeans. And then after that, I left Singapore, came back to India, and then the normal chores, office chores. Then after 1 year, going back, those beautiful moments, they manifest in the form of feelings, extremely pleasant feeling, which I might say that I never experienced this before. Where is this coming from? And at the airport is not only me, there are thousands of people there. I'm sure the others not feeling that. So it's the same object, same environment, but in my case, there's a very beautiful moment coming inside. Where is this coming from? It's not from the external object. External objects, they serve as a trigger. They can trigger, but what is instigated? What is triggered? What triggers and what is triggered? What is triggered is coming from nowhere outside, is from inside. That is known as the Buddha nature. Likewise, say somebody who doesn't know what is compassion, somebody who's brought up in such a culture of always being individualistic, so individualist all the time. And then one time the person is in a workplace. In a workplace, there's somebody there as a colleague, and you become very desperate that you are in need of something, and then you know that nobody will be there because that I have to work in order to get this. And then you are in such a desperate situation. If you don't get it on time, then a disaster is going to happen to you. You know that, and nobody's there. And suddenly, from nowhere, the person comes, otherwise very normal person in your life or as your colleague, person provide you that help with such a compassion there, and it's very strange. The minds, they can talk. Metaphorically, they can talk. So when the very compassionate reaction coming from the other side, the very compassionate actions coming from the other side in the form of not necessarily verbally, yeah, I'm so compassionate. No need to say that. Mentally, a person feels that, and with that, come with this, okay, this is for you. This is for you. The person will feel what is going in your mind. That person never experienced that before, but now the person could feel it. So something is coming from inside, which this person never experienced before. So then the person feels, this is so pleasant feeling. I never experienced it before. If a billionaire, by getting a pill, by taking it, if that billionaire get the same feeling as this person who never experienced compassion before, that beautiful feeling, if the billionaire gets it, the billionaire will surely buy all the pills. So this is the feeling which is so beautiful, and that this person who never experienced what compassion is could feel it now. So it came from where? It came from inside. The other person served as the trigger, and what is triggered is the inside seed that comes out. Without the oil inside, the oil will not come out. Mm-hmm. So something from inside is coming out. We can see that. And likewise the knowledge. Knowledge, say, I don't know how to operate this computer, Zoom. I don't know how to operate this. And then my friend says, okay, press this so that you can see the other participants. So, okay, then I start pressing it, and then I can see all the individual participants, right? So from there, from the misknowledge or lack of knowledge, I acquire new knowledge. This knowledge came from where? If I keep this, just this inanimate pen, and he tells the pen, okay, press this, and then all the participants will be seen. This pen will not learn anything new. But from me, when he said it, then I learned it. He doesn't have to teach me again. I press it again, I can see all these, okay, say the Irit is there, I can see now, Irit is there, Vardha is there, I can see, and then Nida is there, I can see. So that this knowledge comes out. From the lack of knowledge, knowledge comes out. This knowledge comes from where? From inside. That inside, whatever you call it, that inside, from where this knowledge is coming out, that storehouse is known as the Buddha nature.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I think we have time for one more question. If anyone have a question, please don't be shy. Just or you raise your hand, or there is an icon of a hand you can do. Oh yeah, here we have David. Yes. David.
I'm on. Toda. Shalom, Geshe Dorji. Thank you very much for the beautiful lecture and insights. It's not a question, but it's some sort of a comment. I'm listening to Buddhism about a few years, so I call myself a beginner, and that would be probably my entire life as a beginner, because the subject is never ending. And one of the insights that you mentioned in your lecture is that the hard core of happiness and the source of happiness is within us, within everybody, every human being in the world. And I felt so, but this lecture, it became more real than ever in my life. And I know it is there. And I know that I experience that very often, okay, in my life. My question, how can we spread this thinking to make people believe that it's absolutely there, and probably meditation and practicing will help it, yeah. But it's a deep insight, I think, and to get that insight is my feeling is when I feel in a deep tranquility, and this is the moment that I think, wow, it is there. Okay, I do get splitted to try to separate that happiness with issues that are burning in my body, like, for example, the current political situation in Israel. Okay, and that's the trick of to try to separate both, be happy, be tranquil, and still try to do something to awake some awareness for this bad stuff that I think happens around.
Okay, so basically, again, this is a very serious point. This is a very serious point, that how can we convince others that the truth of the purity, the Buddha nature, seed of the happiness, ultimate, not just a seed of happiness, ultimate seed of happiness, seed of ultimate happiness is within each one of us. How can we convince others of that? This is a very serious question, and we can take it from another angle, that this question is a very compassionate question. It's not about, how I can be convinced. It's about how we can convince others. This is a very compassionate action. So for that, the Buddha's approach is always very skillful. Always very skillful. Okay, so how? You have to see to the situation of the other person. If the other person is terribly hungry, don't teach Buddha nature. Give the food. Give the food. And in the process of giving food, you are giving love. The person, you are teaching love while giving food. Don't say, okay, you have to love others. Don't say that, just give food. This is the teaching of love, because the other person can feel the love in action. Then when the other person is the other person has enough food, no problem with the food, but always so busy with the daily works, and not really time for Dharma studies and the Dharma Friends of Israel classes, no time for that. Don't worry. So when you do meet the person, just see what are the good qualities of that person. There are many good qualities. It is not that only if you come to the Dharma Friends of Israel class, you are good. If you cannot come, then you are they're not good. This is not true. Even those people who do not get time, who do not want to come, even they have good qualities. For our job is identify what are these good qualities. When you identify these good qualities, when you do get a little bit of time, don't talk about the heaviness, dharma, wisdom and emptiness, bodhicitta, negative karma, suffering. Don't say like this. Just say that, oh, I learned that, I learned that you are actually sympathizing somebody who's suffering from coronavirus, suffering from this COVID-19. I learned that you have been sympathizing that person. Thank you so much for making the world a happier world. Thank you so much. The moment the person receives the acknowledgement from you, that person's kind. This is what the person is so busy, that person doesn't really get time from anybody else to give some acknowledgement to that person. So that person doesn't get time to enjoy that. And then for the first time, the person will feel that. Whenever somebody talks nicely about anybody, the person will be very happy. When that happiness comes coming to know that this happiness comes from you, Robert. So the person will be inclined to come to you more often. And then Robert can say, okay, that the person may ask you, what about tomorrow, Saturday? Oh, Saturday, I'm going to Israeli Friends of Dharma, the Dharma Friends of Israel. Okay, can I join you? Yes, please welcome. And this is how you can break. Yeah, this is how, and then the person will come to discover what's the true nature inside. Wow, this is what I've never experienced before. Yeah, this is how we need skillfulness. Yeah. Okay, very good. This is a very compassionate action. Thank you so much. And there's another question there. There's another question there which reads, the question from Muli Geezer. Can you speak, please, more about nirvana versus Buddhahood? Thank you so much. Is Buddhahood same as parinirvana? Okay. So if the time is up, I will do this question in the next session. Is it fine, or I do it now?
I mean, the time right now is up, but it's up to you. If you want to answer this question, then we can take a break and then go back, but it's up to you.
We'll take a break, and then we'll begin with this question, and then we will pick up other questions from the audience.
Okay, thank you so much, Geshe. Before we go, I just wanted to say some things in Hebrew, sort of like official stuff. So thank you so much, and we see you in 11:30, and then I just speak for everyone else, just some announcements, okay? Thank you so much, Geshe. אז זהו לכולם, אנחנו עכשיו נעשה הפסקה עם השיעור, ונחזור בחזרה ב-11:30 יתחיל השיעור, אבל תנסו להתחבר לפני זה ב-11:25, כדי שנוכל לחזור בחזרה בזמן. זהו, אז ב-11:30 יש שוב שיעור, ובשעה 2 עד 3 יהיה לנו שיעור עם יקילה, שאלות ותשובות בעברית, אם יש דברים שככה מונחים שלא הבנתם, אז אפשר להכין שאלות, ואני בטוחה שיהיו לו תשובות מעולות לתת לנו. אז זהו, עכשיו רק רציתי לציין משהו שלא אמרתי קודם, בקשר לדנה, שאפשר, יש באתר של ידידי הדרמה אופציה, אם אתם ככה מרגישים שאתם יכולים לתרום לפעילות של ידידי הדרמה ושל גשה, אז יש את האופציה שגם של פייפל, ואם אתם צריכים קבלה אז גם אפשר לצאת על זה, אז יש שם את האינפורמציה הזאת. תודה רבה, תהנו מההפסקה, 11:25 בבקשה להתחבר קצת לפני שנוכל להתחיל בזמן, וזהו, נדבר.